stabilizing the scapula 4 different ways. So you can use your TheraBand, you can tie it around a doorknob, you can tie it around like one of those poles that you might have in the basement. And I'll also show you a version where you can just kind of pin it underneath you if you don't have access to the doorknob. If you have a place where you can kind of keep it up, then it's kind of helpful because it'll be a visual reminder of you just doing the exercises. So I just tied it around once. Again, sometimes it's a little bit better to do it on the side of the outside of the door so that you're always pulling the door closed instead of pulling the door open, and it might spontaneously open up on you. So for 4 different directions, you want to find a little bit of resistance that's going to be challenging but not completely overpowering, because these muscles are very, very small. We're going to start off with the, you want to be about in the same length here, the line of the TheraBand. You shouldn't be too high up. Wherever your hand falls, you should roughly be in line. I'm a little bit higher, but other doorknobs might actually be quite in line. We're going to start off with internal rotation. So I've got my arm bent at 90 degrees, my shoulder is relaxed, and I've got my hand gripping the TheraBand. Again, I'm not far forward and I'm not behind here. We're trying to keep it all in one line. I'm going to pin my other side beside me, hand beside me, because it just doesn't need to be doing anything. I'm going to find some stability through my feet. There's a lot more going on here than just moving the shoulder blade just to get the maximum benefit. We're going to use an exhale to gently rotate that shoulder inwards. So I'm not breaking the wrist and just pulling the wrist in. I'm not turning my body to find that small rotation. We're just using a little exhale to pull that arm in. I'm meeting the resistance where it's a little bit challenging and not too light. So you don't want the band to be slack the whole time here. You're going to do 10 repetitions. I think that's about 4, so I'll go on here. We'll do it in real time. We'll exhale. Good. I'm keeping that elbow close to my side. I'm not letting it flare out. And we'll do one more. Great. So that's your internal rotation. Now for most people, this muscle is quite tight and it's already pulling the shoulder forward, but make sure you still do this piece of the exercise because it's actually stabilizing the shoulder in the joint. And if a muscle is too tight, then it creates weakness. So you do want to strengthen that shoulder. Since we've already got this, this arm here, we're going to do a little nudge across the body. So this is abduction, so another movement. So I've got my elbow bent, my shoulder is still relaxed, so I'm not all the way up here. We're going to use the exhale to find a little bit of that resistance and pull across the body. The range of motion, again, is very small. I'm like just getting close to the opposite hip. I'm not, again, powering through. Just a super small range of motion. Just trust that the muscles that are supposed to be working are working, and you're finding that stability in the right places. So we're going to do about 5 more here. Again, 10 total is great. And if you find that you know, you do need more resistance, then just move yourself out a little bit more. Nice strong exhales. I've lost count already, so we're going to do 2 more. And the last one here. So now I'm going to go into the other arm. So finding a little bit of external rotation. So we're going to step a little bit closer towards the band. I'm going to hold the band in my opposite arm. I'm going to bend that elbow as well to 90 degrees. I want to keep the wrist in line with the elbow and everything in line with the shoulder as much as I can. I want this to be in a nice straight line. Again, not too high, not too low, not forward, not too far back. Just finding the back of that shoulder. Exhale, small rotation is just this little piece of engagement where you're just opening the front of the shoulder and you're just feeling a very gentle engagement through that shoulder blade. We're going to go for 10. Let's say there's about 5 more. So once you watch the movements, then you're easy to go on your own. We'll do 2 more. Again, watch that resistance on the body. This is a great little stability actually for the core because you're working against that rotation. And 1 more for a bonus. Good. Abduction. I'm going to walk the hand in a little bit. I'm roughly like mid of my body here. The elbow again is bent in this like 90 degrees kind of triangle, and we're going to work just the outside of the deltoid here, just a little small range of motion. Exhale as you pull out. This one's quite common. You feel like it should be stronger, you feel like it should be doing more, so you get into the trap or you go further out than you need to. Just find that resistance. Oh, there it is, and then come back. Exhale and inhale. So one of the visuals that we use is that you're at the movies and your partner is talking and you're just giving them a nudge to stop talking. Good, I'm going to do 3 more. Again, try to go up to 10. And again, by like the 7th, 8th, 9th, and the 10th one, you should be starting to feel more of the muscle actually engaging. So if you don't feel it by the end, then you'll want to add a little bit more resistance, but don't feel like it's going to feel like a bicep curl or sound like a big shoulder movement. It's very small. So then you want to do all of that on the other side. So on the other side, we'll start with the right arm. We're going to do external rotation, so you get the back view. Again, you want to have that TheraBand in line. You're using the lightest TheraBand that you need at this point. We're going to grip the TheraBand. Wrist is going to stay in line with the elbow. Elbow underneath the shoulder. Feet are firm on the floor. Hip width apart is great. A little bit of engagement, and then you're going to exhale to rotate from the back of the shoulder. Super small range of motion. I'm going to try not to rush them either. You want to put your mind in the muscle. I'm going to do 3 more. Again, 10 reps. Pilates instructors are not great at counting here. Abduction, elbow bent. I'm going to walk my hand in about midline of the body, and so I'm getting a little bit more attention on the band. I'm going to use the exhale to pull out. Good. So again, a little bit of core work here. We're fighting that resistance against the shoulder range of motion. So we're trying to let things move separate from the torso. Using a nice exhale to pull out. Remember, it's just activating that deltoid, that supraspinatus that just does that. So the supraspinatus itself does the first 15 degrees of the abduction, then deltoid takes over. I think I'm going to go for a bonus here. And then we're going to switch hands. So we're doing internal rotation. I'm going to step out a little bit so that I have a little bit more resistance on the band. Elbow against the rib cage, nice and open, small range of motion, just pulling in. Okay, your hand does not have to like fully touch the belly. You don't have to muscle anything. You're just finding stability. Small muscle group. Okay, it's very common that we want to really overpower these muscles, and that's why they become unstable. I do 4 more, only 10. The last one. Great, and then adduction, same of the bent elbow position here, and then you're just taking a nice exhale, spring that arm in front. Now you want to keep that arm in 90 degrees. So imagine that it's in a cast, and you're just brushing it across the front of the body. Okay, it's pretty common that I see the elbow straighten out as you come across. It's also common that as you come back, this elbow will go back. So try to imagine, again, the visions that we use are that you're between two panes of glass. So you're not able to bring this elbow backwards or forwards. You can only go through the middle here. We'll do 3 more. I'm not sure if that'll add up to 10. If it does, it'll be a miracle. Great. So that's your scapular range of motion for the rotator cuff, essentially. 4 ranges of motion. You want to repeat these 10 times on each arm with the 4 different ranges of motion. And I would say ideally you're doing this 1 to 2 times per day. And you want to get the full body involved with your breath. You want to plant your feet. You want to connect to the floor. You want to open up the hips. You want to engage the core. And you'll get a lot more out of it than just focusing on the shoulder itself. So this is the version standing, you know, with got the doorknob there to pull against, or there's a bunch of other ways that you just find something stable to wrap your TheraBand around. I will also demonstrate when you can sit on the band if you don't, for whatever reason, have access to a doorknob. All right, thanks for watching.